So we're on page 91. We're going to be talking about multiplying and dividing, multiplication and division inequalities. And so basically this section is going to talk about how you do the inverse operation to solve it. Okay, so the inverse operation means if it's multiplication, you're going to do the division to solve it. If it's a division inequality, you're going to do it with multiplication to solve it. So when you multiply or divide both sides of the inequality by the same number, so what you do to one side, you do to the other side, okay, it's going to remain equal. Now, I don't mean that it's going to have an equal sign. I mean that it's going to remain equal as it was before you started trying to solve it. So this says 36 times x is less than 72. So if we try to solve it, we're going to solve for x. We're going to draw our line and separate this side of the equal sign from this side. We're going to keep our sign. Since it's not equal, we have to keep our sign. So I want x all by itself. So how do I get rid of the times 36? Well, the opposite of multiplying by 36 is dividing by 36. So what I do to one side, I do to the other to keep it balanced. That cancels. 36 divided by 36 is 1, and 1 times x is still just x. 72 divided by 36 is 2. So in this inequality, x, whatever number you put here, has to be less than 2. All right, so again, you can number your number line however you want. You can count by ones, by halves, by fives, it doesn't matter. But 2, all right, needs to be able to be represented on the number line. So since it can't be equal to 2, it's just less than 2, we're going to put an open dot on 2, and less than, x is less than 2, so the numbers that are less than 2 are to the left on the number line. So that shaded line is going to represent all the possible answers that could go in place of x, all right, that are a solution for x. So if we want to check it, anywhere where our pen touches, let's say 0. So put 0 in place of x. So 0 is less than 2. Is that true? Yes. So I have my ray, my line, my shaded portion going in the correct direction. So let's look at this next one. 4 times x is greater than or equal to 22. So we're going to solve for, let's see what x could be. All right, we're going to keep our sign. We want to get rid of multiplying by 4, so we're going to divide by 4. What I do to one side, I do to the other. That cancels. 22 divided by 4 is going to be 5 1/2. So this is what I'm graphing. And again, I can number it however I want. I am just going to count by half. But as long as I have a dot on 5 1/2, I'm okay. So let's think of what kind of dot it could be. Could it be equal to 5 1/2? Yes. So we need to color it in, but it could also be greater than 5 1/2. So I'm going to go toward the greater side of the number line. All right, here we have r divided by 3 is greater than or equal to 11. So I'm going to solve for r. So I'm trying to get rid of dividing by 3. So the opposite of dividing by 3 is multiplying by 3. So what I do to one side, I do to the other. 3 divided by 3 cancels to 1. 1 times r is just r. And 11 times 3 is 33. So I've solved that inequality, and now I'm going to graph it. So I just need 33 somewhere on my number line. And again, I can number however I want. So since this can be equal to 33, or less or greater than 33, I need a closed dot on 33 going toward the greater than side of the number line. All right, so instead of going on the back to page 92, we're going to go to page 80, back to page 88. Okay, that's going to help you more, I think, with your homework. So it said Anton has a goal of biking at least 20 miles. He bikes at a rate of 7 miles per hour. Which inequality can Anton use to find h, the number of hours he should bike in order to meet or exceed his goal? So right here is a little hint. Okay, meet or exceed. So we know it's gonna, it can be equal to it or be greater than it. Exceed means greater. So let's read it again. Anton has a goal of biking at least 20 miles. So that at least means 20 or more. Okay? So he bikes at a rate of 7 miles per hour. So 7 miles per hour. Remember, per means 1. And it means that we have some kind of groups where we're either going to multiply or divide. So I'm thinking there's groups of 7. So I'm going to go 7 miles in this hour, 7 miles in this hour, 7 miles in this hour, until I get 20 or more. So that sounds like groups to me. So I look at my answer choices and I see that this is adding. These are parts. I'm not adding. I have groups of 7. So C and D are out. And I'm thinking, do I want to be greater than or equal to 20? Or do I want my number of hours to be less than or equal to 20? So it says at the least 20. So 20, I could be equal to 20 or more. So it's going to be A. All right, so let's look here. We have Chan is selling blankets for $12 each. All right, that's a pretty big word. It means multiply or divide, or it can mean for 1. So for 1 blanket is $12. He wants to make more than $210 in blanket sales. And then they give you the inequality. Okay, more than means greater than. Okay, let's change this to a 2. It's going to be 12 times B equals 210. All right, so if I have this and I'm trying to solve it, so you're going to draw your line and solve for B. How to get rid of multiplying by 12? We're going to divide by 12. 120 divided by 12 is going to be 10. So we need an open dot on 10, and it needs to be going to the right, which is going to be C. All right, number 3. A wrote the inequality, x divided by 12 is less than 6. So which situation is best represented by this inequality? So if I start thinking, I see that x is going to be my total. It's divided into 12 groups, or groups of 12. And in each group is going to be 6, or there's 6 groups. Okay, and I'm looking for less than, some words that mean less than. So A divided X pieces of pie among 12 students. That looks good so far. And each student received fewer than 6 pieces of pie. So fewer than, I think I have the right sign. That looks pretty good. A placed X flowers in 12 rows. Again, I'm X flowers into 12 groups. That sounds okay. And there were no more than 6 flowers in each row. So no more than 6 means there can be 6. So it could be equal to 6, but no more than. So it's close, but this sign and this sign are a little bit different. Okay? So C. A separated X hats into 6 stacks, and each stack had at least 12 hats. Okay, that's close, but at least means that we're going to have this sign, and that's not what this says. A shared 12 crayons with X classmates. So that means that they had 12 crayons, and they're sharing it among X classmates. And each classmate had fewer than 6. So it's close, but they're treating 12 as the total here instead of X. So it's going to be A.